A lot can happen in 90 days of doing any type of challenge, and this type of challenge was a little bit more aggressive than most challenges that I've tried in the past. 90 days of beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. I mean, that's incredible in itself. And so far, I have been able to accomplish this 90-day challenge pretty seamlessly. Now, to get straight on into it, when I started the challenge, I went to Nome like 2 weeks after for about a month and a half work trip, and I was able to focus on beef, bacon, butter, and eggs for at least a full 30 days, really strict. Now, throughout this process, I've been figuring out just for myself that I need to figure out, okay, what I can add back in over a period of time, and that's what the last 30 days was all about. And throughout this experience of doing this project, I have experienced a lot of problems along the way. I've also experienced a lot of benefits along the way. Now, one of the main problems I had, especially when I was in Nome and also when I got back home, was I was experiencing leg cramps. Now, I think I have figured out the solution for my leg cramps. Now, part of my solution for the leg cramps is just simply magnesium glycinate. We have two products here. One of them is from a local grocer here at Natural Pantry, and the other one is from Dr. Berg. These both work very well. They're magnesium glycinate, and I also decided to pick up a little bit of vitamin D3 with some K2 in there. Now, another one of my supplements that I've started just taking recently is Jim Crow's iodine solution. This is a 2% solution. I purchased this on Amazon. I'll provide a link down in the description section if anybody is interested in trying out iodine supplements. Now, the way I take this supplement, it just comes in a dropper, and I take about 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is pretty close to a dropper full. Just put it in my coffee and mix it up a little bit, and it does not affect the flavor whatsoever. Now, when I started the challenge, I was here at home and I was eating primarily ground beef at the time. I was eating 70-30 ground beef, a lot of eggs, some bacon, added some butter. I didn't get too much into the butter or the bacon throughout this challenge. I wound up mixing up my proteins in a little bit different way. I started using reindeer sausage, which worked extremely well. And when I got to the end of the challenge, I started eating a lot more shrimp. Now, my favorite meat of choice was ribeye steak. I have had so many ribeye steaks, one after the other after the other. I think I've eaten over cat outside. Come here. That's not even my cat. It's out on the porch crying to come in. I don't even know whose cat that is. But anyways, I did figure out how to do this on a budget with ribeye steaks. So approximately each meal, even up in Nome, Alaska, my meals were costing me close to $25 per meal. And then I seriously have a stray cat sitting out on the porch screaming. Now, back to where I was. Ribeye steaks here in Anchorage cost a whole lot less. I started going to Costco, buying it by the bulk. I'd cut up a big bulk piece of ribeye and get approximately 16 steaks per ribeye, which brought my meal price down anywhere close to $14 to $15. That's including eggs and also reindeer sausage. But this entire time, I've been experiencing weight loss, lots of energy, and I've been able to function much better at work. You guys are just killing me today. Come on. All right, so let's talk about the weight loss that I had while doing beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. I got up on Saturday morning. I did happen to break out my scale, and it's looking like my weight right now is 264.5 pounds even. I mean, well, 5 pounds. That's not technically even. But throughout this entire weight loss journey, when I started, I was 435 pounds. And minus that 264.5, that brings me down to a total weight loss in almost exactly a year and a half of 170.5 pounds. And since I left for Nome in this 90-day beef, bacon, butter, and egg challenge, let's see, I started the journey of this 90 days at 283 pounds. Now I'm down to 18.5 pounds of weight in the last 90 days. That's just eating beef, bacon, butter, and eggs, and not everything was on the rails completely. So like I said before, when I was in Nome, I was able to just focus on myself. I had no family distractions. I was living with roommates, and none of the food that was in the house was mine, except for what I bought and purchased and put in the house myself. So that made it extremely easy for me to focus on the first 30 days of beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. So every day I'd run to the store and I'd pick up a family package of ribeye steaks, which was about $50 to $60 in Nome, and I'd come home and I'd make one of those steaks per day, add about 3 to 4 eggs, and then I would eat 2 reindeer sausage. I did that for a full solid 30 days, removed everything, all the distractions from my diet. And then things got a little more complicated when I got home, because here at home I have a kitchen. This is my house. I have a whole bunch of distractions. I have food, I have family events happening, I have birthday parties, anniversaries, and stuff like that. Me and my wife did celebrate one of our anniversaries before I left for Nome. That was a good time, and that was also right at the very beginning of the beef, bacon, butter, and egg challenge. Now, when I got home, I couldn't quite just stay 100% strict. So I was getting into a few odds and ends, and I believe that was part of the natural transition of this particular type of elimination diet, because you do the first 30 days and then you just start working on slowly adding stuff back in. So I was trying out all kinds of different things, not all at the same time. Once in a while I was eating some bananas. I might have had an apple, an orange. There were some other variables in there, but for the most part, I was just staying strictly on plan until shortly after Halloween. Now, after Halloween happened, the kids brought home a whole bunch of candy, and you know how that goes. A lot of you went off the rails throughout Halloween, and I thought it would be a fun idea, like, oh, okay, let's try, maybe get into the candy. That was a bad idea. The one thing that did happen throughout that week, and the reason why I didn't post a video last week, is because I got into candy and I felt really sad. I felt depressed. I felt a lot of anxiety. I didn't want to post a video. Well, for starters, because I felt ashamed, and two, it wasn't a real good idea because the anxiety, the depression, I had horrible sleep. I think I was actually starting to snore again, and I completely cured my sleep apnea up until that point. So everything had me really stirred up and worried. But this last week here, I was able to just buckle down and start eating a lot more ribeye steaks, focusing on beef, bacon, butter, and eggs again, even though I wasn't doing the beef, the butter, or the bacon. But I was just super happy to get back on plan and start feeling normal again by the end of the week. Now, something I do have here for you is a picture of me at work. It looks like I'm sitting down on a hill. I had just fallen down. I was doing some work around some gravel, and I took a step backwards, and thankfully I had this hill behind me. I fell down, sat on the hill, figured what a great time to take a picture. This is me out in Palmer, and this is me getting back up again. So no different than when I went slightly off the rails with the candy on Halloween. I expect everybody that falls down just to get back up again, just like this photo here with the sunshine in the back. Be proud of your weak moments just as much as you're proud of your really big moments when you're losing a lot of weight or you're finally getting some health-related gains. Now, the really twisted part about going off the rails on Halloween was I actually lost 2 solid pounds that week. I don't know how, don't know why, but I'm guessing it's because every single day, even though I was eating some candy and eating some off-scale type foods, I was forcing myself to eat a lot of meats and fats. With ribeye steak, I was eating approximately 6 eggs a day, and I was adding the occasional reindeer sausage into the mix. So I'm guessing the order of eating that meat didn't really matter too much, because sometimes it was candy before the meat, sometimes it was candy after the meat, but I was eating at least 1 pound of ribeye steak, some reindeer sausage, some candy, and some snacks afterwards. Now, my average intake has been approximately 2,200 calories per day of just the meats and fats. It doesn't include anything else that might be off the rails. When I get off the rails, those calories could go upwards of 3,000 calories a day. I'm still losing weight doing this. And now another thing I've been doing is I've been adding a little splash of apple cider vinegar to my meals. And apparently this does have some sort of benefit. And I was able to reach out to Todd at Carnivore Cure once again, because he was the one that mentioned adding some apple cider vinegar to his dishes, and it does help. Part of our conversation was, hey, what was the deal with adding apple cider vinegar to your steak? I said, was there anything magical about it? His reply was, I use it for 3 reasons. It emulsifies fats. It will bond with the steak broth instead of floating on top. It helps digestion of fat, and it's a short chain fatty acid. So it works like MCT oil in a way, as it goes directly to your liver and produces ketones. And I was blown away. I was like, thank you, Todd. You're amazing. Again, thank you very much, because throughout this entire weight loss journey, you've just been a wealth of knowledge, super helpful, and most of all, a great friend and incredibly supportive. Thank you. So far, the carnivore diet has been my go-to diet for weight loss maintenance, because before I started the carnivore diet, I was fasting like a lot of people, and then I worked my way into keto type diet, then a carnivore keto-ish type diet, and I was just more focused on being able to maintain the weight losses after I lost a dramatic amount of weight. And this is really important for a lot of people. But the magical thing I found out with the carnivore diet is I can eat up to well over 2,000 calories. I've eaten up to 3,000, 4,000 to 6,000 calories. And even throughout those weeks where I ate that many calories with meats and fats, and there's a lot of people out there like this guy over here, he just doesn't believe that I can lose weight or at least maintain weight loss and not gain any weight, substantial weight throughout the week, just eating this way. And it just works. Because from what I've been told, that if you eat the majority of just meats and fats, it's a keto friendly type food in the first place, which we can overeat. You don't tend to gain weight because you're burning more calories to digest the calories you just consumed, is the way it was explained to me. And yeah, it works. I'm living testimony that this stuff works. Now, something else to keep in mind if you're going to be trying a carnivore type diet, not everybody experiences dramatic weight loss, but so far everybody I've talked to has experienced some weight loss, but they've experienced more random inches that just drop off like all over the place. So if you can figure out how to make ribeye steak affordable in your neck of the woods, definitely give that a try, because ribeye steak provides a lot of fat content and connective tissue, everything a body needs. Gives us a lot of collagen, which is great for our joint health, our mental health, mental clarity. But if you can't afford that, you can always start with ground beef. 80-20, 70-30 ground beef tends to work really well. That's how I started my carnivore type journey. I was on a very strict budget. We were out of a job. We were broke. We were just flat broke. And I was able to maintain this lifestyle even on a very, very tight budget of something like $900 a month, which here in Alaska, that's just barely enough to pay the bills. But since I started all this, I've been able to improve my work life, the amount of money I get paid at work, the type of jobs I do. I'm a lot more useful than I used to be, which has definitely helped pick up the pace as far as figuring out how to pay bills, get financially stable again, and hopefully live a better life overall. You're a good kitty. Yes, we love you. And if you happen to own cats, they're going to tend to love you more, because cats are carnivores too. Again, guys, I hope to see you in the next one.